CBS 21 Political Insiders with Rob Hanrahan.
Welcome back. We're joined by our political insiders. Right now I have Republican strategist Kevin Harley here. Charlie Gerow's out of town, and of course Democratic strategist Mark Singal. We're marking one of the darkest days in American history as far as things that have happened on American soil. First of all, guys, let's start with you, Mark. Where were you? What do you remember of it?
Well, I can tell you my daughter was a student at NYU. She actually saw the planes crash into the World Trade Center. The rest of the family, oddly enough, was gathered for a family funeral. My cousin had a freak car accident and he passed away when he was 19 years old. And we were all gathered in a little village outside of Shanksville. So we were not more than 20 minutes away when the second plane went down and the Flight 93 occurred. So this is kind of personal for me because there are some vivid family memories associated with this day.
It's personal for everyone, really, in many ways.
Yeah, I was in the Attorney General's office. We got evacuated from Strawberry Square, had to go to another location, created a command post, and it was just a tough day, and something we'll never forget.
The eeriest thing I remember was I worked night, and so I was out of just north of the city, past NYU, and I had to get a police officer to escort me in because all the roads have been turned out to get to the TV station to begin broadcasting. And I remembered how strange Manhattan was with no sound of traffic or airplanes flying overhead.
Yeah.
And how everybody came together, the unity. And we said we would never forget, and we have not forgotten, but I missed that unity that came for like a year or two after.
Sure. Well, and before we talk more about that, imagine how many of us have been on airplane flights and we're afraid to tell the guy next to us that I want the armrest, you know? Imagine the citizens who stood up and said there's something wrong here and we're going to attack. Let's roll.
On 93.
That's absolute heroism. And in my mind, these people were the first heroes in the war on terrorism, and it happened right here in Pennsylvania. I couldn't be prouder of that.
Right. Yes, absolutely. And I liked what President Trump said today. He gave I think one of the best speeches of his presidency. It was a very unifying speech where he said, our history will not be defined by or written by our enemies, but our history will be written by our heroes. So I think it was very appropriate in reference to the passengers on Flight 93.
Now here we were covering this thing in New York City and from the Pentagon and from Shanksville, and I remember we kept thinking about what's being done, you know, how are the firefighters doing, and I was handed a bulletin to read live on the air, and it was the very first time we realized that the guys, when we're running this way, they're running into it, and it read that entire fire companies were gone. We're missing.
And just one more thing. What I remember distinctly was the call for ambulances. You know, we're going to have to stage so many ambulances. This is going to be mass carnage. And there was no need because they were utterly devastated. They were vaporized when the towers went down. It was even worse than we could have possibly imagined.
Yeah, it was a horrible event, but one that we must mark every year to remember that it happened and to remember that we must move forward from it. Gentlemen, thanks for coming in, talking about such a sensitive subject. You can hear more from our political insiders Sunday mornings at 8:30 on CBS 21's Face the State. I hope you'll join us for that.